Do-do-do-do-do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Knicks-Verse. Today we have our good friend Steven Fox on Sports Talks with the Fox and Sports Vibes TV. Very soon, in about a half hour or so, Quis will be joining us. And then we will have all three. We'll have the syndicate back in action here together for a very important game, a special game. The Knicks are out in San Francisco. They're on my coast. I wish I could have gone up to San Francisco to see this game, but it wasn't in the cards for me for this weekend. But I'm here for you guys. We're going to break down the game. We're going to break down all the news on the Knicks that popped up today. Foxy, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Shout out to you. I hope you're feeling better. I know your voice and everything. You've been a little under the weather this past week. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the Knicks-Verse family and into the Sports Vibe family too.
Awesome. Yes, shout out. Oh, we got Lex the Destroyer. We got your puppy Miles. All right, what's up, Miles? What's up, Lex? Drew, Lakata, Adrian Reality, Big L, 139 Lennox. Good to see you guys. Thank you guys for joining us again. And if you're watching later on in the stream, thank you for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, just stumbled upon this thing, please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button for us. Even if you are subscribed, hit that thumbs up button for us, and drop your comments anytime you want. We read them all. Let's see, tonight we have an interesting game. Knicks started off uncharacteristically, won a back-to-back on the road, the toughest. They haven't even won in Denver since 2006. It was huge. Foxy, let's start off with your thoughts about the past couple of games, these two back-to-back wins. If you want to talk about one first or the other, you.
I'll start maybe just the last game, but it does. I got to give flowers and props to Julius, man. He played amazing, and I think it was the epitome of what all Knicks fans have asked. We don't care if he goes 3 for 10, we do, but if he goes, but just give us effort. Give us effort on your possessions, and so he played like he was supposed to play. He holds himself as a leader of this team, and he called the meeting, the team meeting the other day. And ever since that team meeting, there seems to be a pep in his step and just an effort. So I got to give it to Julius, man. I'm really happy with him, and good wins. Obviously, they were missing Joker, so we're keeping everything cool in Aaron Gordon. But a win's a win, and they're it's funny. They're 5-5 in their last 10. It's a crazy team. Everything they do is 50% over the last year. So if you look at numbers, and so they're trending well. Hey, I'll take these 2 wins regardless who played or not, man. And it's good for the morale of the team. We'll get into some of the announcements made with Quick, and which really broke my heart. Why do you have to do that when everything's going so well? But a lot of riders can't help themselves.
Yeah. We'll get into that story, because I think it's like the tip of the iceberg of a lot of things that are going on with this roster, the roster construction, the things that the front office are going to have to face in the off season with extending contracts for Obi, IQ, and Cam. So what are they going to do? And there's reason. Miles.
Yeah, he's a maniac, man. I apologize, but some of the things that you have to put up for, I love doing late night, but sometimes when you have a puppy, these are the things. And he loves his daddy, something crazy. So he's always trying to make out with me. At least somebody's trying to make out with me.
I see Splashing 12676 says bipolar. Yeah, it is kind of bipolar. I'll tell you that much. I'm not sure what he's referring to, but that's this team feels a little bipolar.
Well, it was a weird win. We shot 23.5% from 3, and statistically, if you said to me, "Hey, are we going to beat a team shooting 23% from 3 in today's NBA?" I'm like, "No, we wouldn't." And also 77%. That's that bad versus some of the previous games, but I was shocked that we shot that and still won like we did.
Ooh, just saw a tweet here from Zach Braziller from
Post
saying Mitchell Robinson is remains out, he is getting closer.
Yeah, because the announcement was made on November 6th, and they said 7 to 10 days, which was 2 days ago. So I was going to bring up to you that, hey, have we heard anything, that's 12 days ago already that this happened. So
yeah, they said 7 to 12 days before they even
reevaluate.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere maybe he might miss 7 to 10 games.
Well, I wish I knew what it was. Hopefully it's just a sprain and they're waiting for swelling to go down, or they're waiting the swelling to go down to take another MRI or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, 7 to 10 days, 10 games. I mean, 7 to 10 games. 10 games would be Monday would be the 10th game, which makes sense. I don't think he's on this road trip with them, so there's no chance of him playing on this entire road trip. Which is fine. The Knicks, they're dealing with it. It takes a while once you take someone like that out of your rotation that your whole defensive scheme relies upon, that for them to adjust. When they seem to be adjusting.
Hey, things happen for a reason. You and I were talking during the last game, and we both said, chatting to the Knicks fandom. George and I said during the game that we were watching together the other night, like, Sims has to move up in the rotation. Look at him at the perimeter, whether it was on the possession with Bones Highland, whether it was on the possession with Jamal Murray. Look at his versatility, that footwork and everything that maybe, I don't wish bad on anyone, but maybe this was the thing to say, hey, with the team that we have, folks, when George and I do these things, we're first and foremost a fan. We want the best for these young men. But then when we're analysts, we're merciless. We're unmerciful because we look at the stats, we look at the numbers. So it's very hard for us. We have one part where we're just being analysts and it's cut black and white, and then a fan. And when I was watching the game the other night, he took like an 8-foot jump shot. You remember and missed it? Brunson got him. He was all alone. I was screaming like I was saying, Lord, please let him make it. Let him make it, because
we've seen him hit that shot.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like saying to myself, if he makes it, oh my God, that's the type of thing. So his defense, his versatility, his blocking shots, and if he hits a jumper like that, it's like, this changes everything on this rotation, man. It should, at least, because Hartenstein could not play the perimeter like Sims. And you know what? He doesn't block shots. Like, he doesn't have obviously the athleticism.
Not as fast, not as athletic, and doesn't have the hops. So those are three. And I don't think he even has the handle as good as Sims.
No, he brings the ball up beautifully.
Yeah, Sims does. I mean, iHeart has a decent handle for a big guy, but he's the passing. Though we saw some of that passing in the summer league from Sims, and then Thibs echoed that in one of his post games conferences where he said, "Oh, we see it in practice. He's a good passer. It's just, I think he's shy."
I think the usage of the other players on the floor just don't give him an opportunity to show that.
Yeah, but you could look. You're out there. You can still do it. You get the ball handed off to you. He can do a fake. He can do a quarterback sneak.
Exactly,
I'm waiting for him to do it.
Yeah, fake dribble handoff, and then hit somebody cutting or something.
Yeah, we saw all of that in summer league. Now it took a while, for him to get comfortable to do it, even in summer league. So we'll see, with more time on the floor, more comfort, more talking with his, his friends, his teammates, and I think that'll come out because I don't think I have a feeling we're more than a week away from Mitch playing. Maybe it could be 2 weeks at the earliest. So we'll see. But there's no confirmation on any of that. Shout out to the chat. See, we got Sincere to Genius. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Splashing 12676 says, would have liked them to get swept and Thibs fired before Tripp started. After games like Denver, you wish they played like that every game. This isn't gonna last. Well,
let's enjoy it while it does, though.
Yeah. Which part? Whether Randall continues playing like this, that we'll see. But I feel the team can play like that. The team has it in them to play that way. I'm loving Miles popping up there, man.
I'm sorry, man. He's the coolest. Like I said, he's one of the sweetest dogs you'll ever meet in your life. But he's like his daddy. He's crazy.
I'm gonna hide the name so I can see him. What's up, Miles?
Yeah, that's your uncle speaking.
Hey. Well, let's. I know I don't want to get Quis's take on some of this stuff, but let's talk. One thing I want to ask you about is, how do you feel about the win? Which win were you more impressed with on this road trip? Was it the Jazz win against a basically full squad? Or was it the Denver win, second game back-to-back, higher altitude? However, they're missing two of their top three players.
Oddly enough, I think maybe they broke two streaks. Actually, the Jazz were undefeated this year, but then they broke the streak of Denver. I just thought maybe they got the monkey off their back, even without Joker there, and even out without Aaron Gordon. I just like the grit. That was a game that classically we would have lost a year or so ago, and I just loved how we came back. And just because of I like people having second chances and things like that. So I was, Randall diving for that loose ball and throwing it in, getting it. So I was, that really, I guess I'm tending toward the last game only because it showed this team without RJ how well that we can play. And RJ, you and I were like saying, oh my God. And, if the guy's sick, then sit him. But you can't play that guy that amount of minutes the last two games if he's sick, and especially hurting the team. And
I just want to jump in on that.
Sure.
Before we jump in on that, I want to hear from the chat. I see some Lex has already jumped in on it, and so has Kept Giggles. Good seeing you, Kept. Which win were you guys more impressed with? The Jazz win or the Nuggets win? In fact, I'll put a poll up. While I do that, I want to hear from you. Can you explain to me how Grimes didn't get any floor action while RJ was obviously struggling? To the naked eye, to us, we could tell. I could tell in the Utah game, he looked terrible. Even
lethargic, yeah.
Yeah, his eyes had that glassiness to it.
Then don't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mystery. You're 100%. I'm like saying to myself, why isn't Grimes playing? The guy doesn't have it. He doesn't have it tonight, and I'm watching with brick after brick after brick from three, missing bunnies, especially on defense. I mean, it was one of the ugliest defensive displays in RJ's career. And they're building up game after game. He's getting killed on screens. He's just the play at halftime with Bones Highland hit that long shot. It was like Herman Munster. He was like so stiff and like, what are you doing? Cover him, come. This guy can shoot from the logo. Bing, he nailed it. So I was impressed. I am so happy for Cam. And also I was pissed off. It's like, this guy is bricking and bricking and bricking, meaning RJ, and Cam only got 5 shots for the night. What the hell? How does a guy who's bricking it take 21 shots?
I think Cam knew his 3-point shot wasn't there on Wednesday on the Denver game. And remember, he shot that one shot. It was like off to the side. His hands were too dry or something. I heard Wally talking about, and I saw during the pregame, they showed a shot of Malone sitting on the bench, rubbing lotion in his hands, and I was thinking, well, that's so odd. And then later on, when Wally made that comment, I was wondering if this is what the Denver players do. They put to get some moisture on their hands, so they get some touch. Because man, when your hands are dry, and the ball just kind of flies out of your hands, you have no control.
Especially that new ball from a year or so ago that they said is slippery.
Yeah. So I think a little bit might have been that too, but as well. But what's the rationale? How can you justify as a coach keep trotting a sick kid out there? I'm going to call him a kid when it's in my favor. I call him a kid. Hey, same age as my son. I mean, how do you keep trotting a guy like out there who's obviously not feeling it? I mean, he's obviously feeling sick, under the weather. When you have Grimes, when you have Mr. Spider Dealbreaker sitting on the bench, and even Fournier. I mean, that's
I'm
what
with
you have
you.
a roster for.
That's what you have our next man up. And obviously he wasn't on his game, whether it was ill or it was just, he's going through a bad spell now. Regardless, you can't give a guy like that and say he's going to shoot himself out of the slump. No, you could shoot this team out of a win. So I agree with you. You may not have the 3, but I like him. He's a slasher. Then give him more plays, where you create a play for him to do his magic. But only getting 5 shots, his wizardry on defense against Michael Porter and everything. We're just seeing, Cam blossom before our eyes with, we've talked about that prototype size and that phenomenal 7-foot plus wingspan that's so disruptive in passing lanes. It seems that we can't go a game now when he plays these minutes that he doesn't have at least 2 steals or such.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he had like 3 steals in that first quarter.
Magnificent. And for the game, he actually had 2 steals for the whole game.
Oh, was it 3 steals in Utah? I know.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't give him credit. Sometimes they don't give him.
I know.
The guy pokes it and someone else touches it, and then someone else ends up getting the credit for the
Actually,
steal.
he only had 1 steal in Utah. But like you said, I think sometimes we see stuff and it's like, he should have got credit. It just seems he's being, hey, Michael MPJ went 1 for 8 and one for 6 for 3. So they're doing something right. And once the communication, again, he didn't play much last year. He doesn't know these guys. He's going to get better and better on defense. And you, me, and our brother Quis have been saying from day one, the way for Cam to build his thing is on the defense. Everything else will come after that. But if he uses the tools that the Lord gave him, and whether that block shot, showing fire, we're seeing the best that we've seen in Cam. Now, hey, my heart, who was it, Conley, had a hard foul on him, and I had a Hail Mary. Every time he goes down hard like that after last year's hurting his shoulder, I was like, oh, please, please, please be okay, Cam. So, yeah, I could not ask more for Cam. Keep getting the 30-plus minutes, and let's see what we're going to get.
Yeah. Cam, Lex chimes in. He says, Denver, because we haven't won there since 2006.
That's what I said, yeah.
I think, and they said it themselves, you got to find a way to win when it gets ugly. I'm a fan of ugly wins, if they're competitive. I'm a big fan of those kind of wins, because that means both teams wanted it. They didn't necessarily have, they weren't like on fire, and they came out and they battled for it, and the Knicks ended up pulling away with it. I loved that final quarter. And I love the final quarter against Utah, too.
Yeah. Hey, 26-19 against the Nuggets. We won the fourth quarter. And then 35-26, we won the fourth quarter against the Jazz. And again, third and fourth quarters of last year, that was our Achilles heel. We lost the third quarter to the Nuggets 30-25, but that's not bad compared to some of how we've done. And we lost again by 5, 27-22 to the Jazz. And you know what? You could come back from that. It's the other third quarters where we got lost by like 15, 20 points that you're asking everybody to, climb back from that type of deficit, that it's just too much. So it puts us in a position, especially with a person like Brunson, who's, he's just a cold ass killer. That guy, I love him.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Brunson. Let's talk about his contribution so far to the team. What do you think have been like the top? What's off the top of your head? Like, what's like you think has been the most important and valuable aspect that he's brought to the team?
A quiet leadership. No matter whom you talk to, there's a respect for him. You
think it's quiet, the leadership? I see him talk a lot.
I see him talk a lot, but when I say that, he's not a Patrick Beverley, that overly extroverted type of flexing after a play and stuff like that. So he has a quiet, he's an intense dude. There's no doubt about it.
Super intense.
But everything everything that we said before the season, you and I, stats wise, he is a mid range assassin. You get him into the paint, as we said, he's second in the league from 5 feet to 9 feet, and for a guard, that's incredible. So he's magnificent that way. You and I feel very strongly that by the time the year over, his 3-point shooting will come up to league average around that. I think he's hit 31, 32 straight foul shots, and that's after hitting 25 straight. So his foul shooting, and also it seems like game after game, 7 assists, 1 turnover. That's a ratio that if you're writing for a point guard, a 7-to-1 ratio. The last 2 games, I think he's 7-1, 7-1.
He's never been a huge assist guy, so I'm impressed. Yeah. I'm impressed with his assists this season. The amount, and I think it's only going to grow.
Imagine if they actually shot better.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's there. Go ahead.
Just meaning, and again, we're only, we still not at the 20 games. You and I talk about, that type of number that give a guy like that to know the chemistry, know the moves and everything. So he's still getting to know a lot of the players. And considering Mitch is out, so their 5 is out, and Cam just came into the lineup. Grimes is out, so it's been an unstable environment for him to really get to know the guys too.
Okay, you brought up Grimes. Well, I agree with everything you said about, before we move on to Grimes, I agree with everything you said about Brunson. I know what you meant by like he's quiet. He's not a big boisterous guy, but he talks. I see him. He's like always talking, always in and out of timeouts. He's always grabbing somebody from who's on the floor with him to have a little chat or whatever it is, a ball stoppage moment. He'll be like, and Randall then in the post-game interview, he said he calms me down. And I saw a moment like that. Gotta say, that's a tremendously valuable aspect that gets underappreciated in this game. We've had that from Taj the past 2 years. Taj had been that guy for RJ. Not sure he was like that guy for Randall as much, but definitely RJ. He definitely was that guy for him. Kenny Payne was more that guy for Randall. But you need somebody. You need somebody to get in people's ears, to give them constructive criticism, but also build their confidence. So it's not always like a threat to them when someone talks to them. And he seems to have that ability, and that's very valuable.
Like I said, there was a funny clip on the web of Ryan Diacono and Brunson talking and fooling around how well they know each other from Villanova days.
Don't they have two chips?
They do
together. Yeah,
I think
they have Archie was the point guard. On those teams,
and the MVP of the tournament. People forget that.
Archie is a tremendous player. He just is a half step too slow, and his handle isn't like there enough to be an NBA starter. But he's a solid backup.
Yeah, he could be a TJ McConnell if he's given the opportunity. He's wicked smart.
Yeah,
and you can see he's very Svi-like. When he gets an opportunity, he drains threes and stuff like that, cold off the bench. And I think
have to see that video. I haven't seen that video.
It's precious. I'll send it to you. How they it's weird. In the video, they said something that caught me off guard. They were talking, so they're like, "Who's the fastest on the team?" and Obi, and then they said something shocking. They went, "Who's like really fast? Miles." And I never would think Miles, if you would classify fast, well, actually fast and quick are two different things. Quick is that first step that we want from Miles, but I was like, wow, maybe he just doesn't get the burn that he needs to really show. But they were both like, yeah, man, he flies. And I'm like,
interesting.
Deuce flies? So I'll send you the link.
He may not have that initial burst, but maybe once he gets the motor running, gets the wheels rolling.
Yeah, he's not a guy for the 40, but for the 100, once he revs up, he gets going.
Yeah, there was always a guy like that in high school. Like, oh, your labor's getting in. Looks right past you. Miles McBride. He's the forgotten man on the bench right now. Doesn't get any love at all. That's right, Cap. Miles was a quarterback. He was actually a quarterback.
He was. But so was Kevin Knox.
Yeah. Well, and Knox's dad was a wide receiver or tight end. Yeah, I think
he was a wide receiver. I remember as a wide receiver in college.
Actually, Knox definitely had a tremendous arm. His cross court passes were always right on the money. He just didn't get enough time out on the court to be able to do that kind of stuff. But I remember there were a few times earlier on when he first started out that whenever it was like a buzzer beater type situation, they put him out there to throw the pass. He'd just nail it, hit people right in their hands.
Yeah, I know, but the weird part is he never really displayed a football mentality when he played.
No, he didn't.
And Deuce does.
Yeah, Deuce does. Deuce, well, he's a totally different kind of player, kind of person. So yeah, I think so far Brunson has lived up to our best hopes, and that's a win. That's a big win. So I gotta say I would readjust my free agent grade signing. I think what did I give him? I gave it a B plus,
something like that. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Right now, I would give it an A minus. Right now, I think he's definitely been an excellent signing. Let's talk a little bit. We're really you can tell we're stalling here for Quis to join us before we talk about the big news of the day, which is right down below. You can see Shams and Begley had already reported this, so then I mixed it together. Shams and Begley report that the Knicks are receiving calls on Derrick Rose and Immanuel Quickley. So we're gonna dive into that. We're gonna break that down, and then we're gonna talk about. We're going to preview the game that's coming up. But for now, we're kind of just talking everything Knicks. We're about to start Game 3 of the West Coast road trip, a trip that some of us feared Knicks might come back 0-5 without a coach. And some I might have been hoping for that. I mean, it's tough. I never root for losses, but at the same time, I was thinking this might be the time. And lo and behold, the man who stepped up to save his coach's his coaching life for at least for the near-term future, was the guy who is probably most responsible for putting him in that situation, Julius Randle.
Yeah, and the one who hasn't shown up is RJ for his coach.
Yeah. Well, I don't see you say it like that. I don't think it's like he hasn't shown up for him. He's sick, And
then take yourself out. You're hurting the team. You got to know the difference of when you're hurting your teammates.
Yes. However, in this world that we live in, that's putting the onus on a 22-year-old over a 60-year-old who should know much, much better, or an entire organization. They should be like, yo, you're not doing well. How about you? Or how about they had said, okay, how about you chill in the Utah game, and then you play Denver, rest up an extra night or something, But to leave it up to him to decide, he's going to decide every player, because that's your attitude. Yeah, I can go out and do it, And then when it comes out and you got to protect players from themselves.
Well, trend wise, hopefully they'll do that tonight, because the last 3 games, folks. RJ's 11 for 46 from the field. He's 11, which is 23% and change. He's 11 from 18 from the foul line.
And before that, the 4 games before that, he was averaging 45% from the three-point line and 52% from overall. So he was playing great.
Yeah, in the last 3 games, he's 0 for 16 from 3.
Yeah.
So this is a real bad stretch for him.
And they don't even look good, the shots.
And they don't even look good, the shots. And again, shout out to Wally, who's a great shooter, and he always says stuff. The great shooters are always short and long. RJ's left and right. And when he's
all over the place. He's
all over the place, yeah.
He's long sometimes.
He looks robotic, and you and I are in shock, and everyone in the chat, because we're like, in preseason, look how smooth that stroke is. And now it looks all robotic.
let's. I was steering it to talk a little more about Julius because he called that team meeting because he's the one who saved his life for at least for coaching life for at least for a couple of games, at least for this road trip, and maybe for a little while longer. Do you feel? I mean, I want you to let's both be as honest as we possibly can.
That's all I can be. You know me by now.
Yeah, and we've been watching him play for years. I've been watching him since Kentucky.
Exactly.
Like I did not even like his game in Kentucky. I didn't like him. I'm like a soft, like a low grade Laker fan because I'm here in LA, and I'm a huge Showtime Lakers fan from when I went to high school out here. Then went back to college from New York. Born in New York, high school out here, college in New York. When I was out here, it was when Magic was coming up, the whole Winning Time show. I lived that. I was here for that. And man, I loved the way he played, loved the whole vibe, loved going to see games. It was just phenomenal. And I didn't want to see Julius on the Lakers, and they drafted him. And then they traded him. And then my team ends up signing him. And each time I'm trying to be positive. And then his first year, and then that second year, magical. But last year he reverted, and then it got even ugly. But this year, he comes out with a new attitude. First 3-4 games, you could see he was trying to approach the game differently, move the ball more, be quicker, bring the ball over more, don't dribble as much. He looked like he cut his dribbling down in half at least in those first 3 games or so. And then there was a reversion back. But now we're seeing a newly invigorated, engaged Julius Randle, more so on the defensive end. Do you believe, and if you want me to answer it first, just let me know. Do you believe this is sustainable for Julius Randle for the rest of this year, next year, for the rest of his contract?
It's a complex question only because Julius is the type of guy who's going to get 20-10-5 pretty, and he's going to get 20-10-5 ugly. So, meaning from an efficiency standpoint, I'm really happy what I saw, but it worries me. Like I said earlier, folks, we're huge fans, so we're compassionate. These are young men. We want the best of it. But when you ask me to put our hat on, our analyst hats on,
if you were to put, if there was a money line on it, I'll answer it first.
Okay.
My fear is that, yes, he can sustain this for a decent stretch, but eventually, unless there is some serious maturity, and we all mature at in different stages, and sometimes we'll go through periods of, even after we've had some maturity, we'll still default back and have some periods of immaturity, but we're still trending towards becoming more mature and together people, if you're trying to be. And I'm speaking partly for myself. However, those things are still in you. They don't go away. And you have to face them. And a lot of that is taking accountability and responsibility. Because once you do that, it's impossible. You can't get away from it. The spotlight's on you. It seems like he's doing that. I think that it's very possible that we're in that situation where it could go either way. He's going to come to a cross. Next time something goes wrong, he could spiral out. Dowever, he's trying. He seems to be doing work. He's doing that meditation, the positive mental training before he's doing like visualization exercises right before, while he's on the sideline, before the game starts. So that's good. I encourage that kind of stuff. I hope the answer is yes. If if I'm asking myself now, do I believe it enough to make plans based upon it? I would say no. I can't build a new house on that foundation. It's not that cement has not fully hardened yet. This new accountability, Randall. So that's my feeling about that.
I'm a old Bronx boy, so I'm not as sensitive to things today that maybe I should be, but if I'm dependent, or if the Knicks fans and the Knicks are dependent on a meditation counselor to keep him in check, let his value get up and let's trade him as soon as possible. If you're dependent on somebody else for you to be stable, then I see an issue coming up in the future, like you said, that'll set him off. So, I'm happy he has this stretch, but to answer your question, I don't think he could sustain the good behavior. I think he can.
So you're concerned as well.
Totally.
I don't think it's I really look. We all do our things. Some of us do yoga, whatever it is. Some of us, burn off steam in different ways. Hey, whatever works is fine. And it's his choice to have that guy on the court there, on the sidelines there, to help him focus, which is great that he's doing that. But yeah, it's because when you look playoffs, we saw what happened to the playoffs. Everything gets ratcheted up tenfold. The intensity goes, and each round it gets even more intense. So can he handle that kind of stuff?
And I think a great answer to it is at the end of the game, folks. When Randall went to the line, even though he's playing well and everything, I don't think there's a person that didn't go, oh shit, in a negative way. And when Brunson went to the line, you said, oh shit, in a great way, like fantastic. He's a cold ass assassin. He's going to nail these two shots, Brunson, in crunch time. And there was a feeling that Randall, I don't think he's going to, I hope he makes one at least, but he gets that scared look in his eye. And, and I always think there's an issue, as crazy as it sounds, I'm a big guy on body language. Even with his good behavior, if you watch Randall is best. If you watch him in an interview after a game like he had the other night where he was the star, he's great. If the Knicks win and it was a Brunson night or an RJ night and they interview him, his body language is weird, man. It's like, yeah, we won. Yeah, it was a good game. It's like somebody took the battery out of him, and it's like, why aren't you joyous? Why aren't you smiling and everything like that? So I still think in the back of his head, the biggest issue we're always going to deal with is that magical second team all NBA season where he thinks of himself as a number one option. And whether Brunson's here or whether, we don't know which RJ will show up, and whether trades down the road, but there's always going to be an issue in his head where I'm a number one option. You're making me a number 2 or 3 or 4 option. And that's not who I am. And that'll, give me that ball. And still, I watch, there's these issues where he does these things on the court that don't show up in the box score, where it's like, give me the ball, and he's ruining the freaking rotation. He runs right up to Brunson. He did it the OKC game.
Well, he ran right into, was it RJ or Cam? One play, he just ran.
Yeah, right ran into one, and then another play, he brought Lou Dort right into Jalen Brunson. So there's nothing else he could do. So he does these things. So I don't mean anything, but if he plays great, I would trade him as fast as I could if we could get something in return for him and get rid of that contract.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hope he continues to play like this, plays well, and I hope he does. And I think we should cash in on it and trade him if we can.
And it's the weirdest thing. He's a 6'9" guy.
Guess who's in the house?
Our
Someone's
brother
in the building.
Yeah!
Here he is. What's up?
We
brother?
love Quis. We
How's
love
everything? How's
Quis.
everything? Good?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Just ready to enjoy the stream. Ready for this game. Hopefully, we get another win. Turn this into a nice little 3-game win streak.
How's your day?
Would be sweet.
Pretty solid. Pretty solid. How was your guys' day? Good.
Hey, it's better now that we have our brother here.
Yeah. Mine's good. Mine's all right. Well, it started off oddly. I told you already, Quis, this morning.
Yeah.
Before we're gonna talk about the Shams and Begley reports. We haven't touched on it yet. We were waiting for you, and then we're gonna preview the Golden State game. But before that, we were just talking about the past few games. I'm curious what you thought, because we put a poll up. Which was
in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, which one was more impressive?
Which win was more impressive, the Jazz or the Nuggets?
Yeah.
For me, it would be the Jazz. I mean, you look at the Nuggets victory. We won by 3 in a game where they didn't have 2 of probably their top 3 players. So, take it with just don't want to get too overexcited about that victory. It was nice that Julius Randle finally woke up. But for me, I'd probably go with the Jazz victory. I know they lost their first 2 games heading into that, but it was the first game after that team meeting. So the fact that we were able to get that victory, that was definitely important. So for me, I'd go with the Jazz over the Nuggets. I'm hyped we won, but
it's funny. I think I agree with you. I think because I don't think if we don't get that Jazz win, we may not have the fortitude to pull out that 3-point Denver win, even without Joker and Aaron Gordon. So even though breaking that streak since 2006 is incredibly impressive, finally to do. But I think I lean more towards the Jazz victory being more impressive. Plus, they were playing great, and we faced their full squad. They had the best record in the West when we played them at the time. In fact, I think didn't both teams have the best record? Denver maybe had the second best record at the time when we played them and beat them both. Snapped both of their dealt both of them their first home loss. It's beautiful. Shout out to the chat. We got almost 150 in the chat. It's awesome. Great turnout. It's Friday night Knicks. Knicks are in San Francisco tonight. They're going to take on the world champion Golden State Warriors, who are struggling.
They're 6-1 at home, though.
Of course.
They're 0-8 on the road and 6-1 at home. So, like we just said, we beat the Jazz, we beat Denver. Now let's go. And you know what? We've won 3 out of the last 5 games with them. I think we match up well. So I could see us winning very easily tonight.
I don't think Curry was there for 3 of those, though.
Ixnay and the Wixnay.
Because Curry loves to play the Knicks, but he loves to play the Knicks at MSG. That's for sure. He loves to light them up there.
Everyone loves to play the Knicks at MSG.
Oh, they do.
Word.
They do. Anything before we move on? Because we gave our 2 cents on the Denver game itself. You know what? I want to ask you. What's the rationale of not playing Grimes at all when RJ is obviously sick and laboring and throwing up bricks?
You know me. In our group conversation, I said that they should have benched RJ after the first quarter, first 6 minutes. I'm like, yo, what's going on? They need to bench RJ if he's not healthy, because right now he's doing more to hurt the team than he is to kind of help us win this game. Defensively, he was letting people blow by him left, right, and center, and then he was shooting nothing but bricks from the perimeter. So I'm like, if he's going to be playing like this, why not go and bring in somebody like Quentin Grimes, who is quote unquote situational? Well, this is the perfect situation for a player like Quentin Grimes. He can knock down the 3, he can play defense, and that would have at least given us a lot more than we were getting from RJ. So me personally, I think Tibbs probably allowed RJ to play a lot longer than he should have, and luckily it didn't end up us losing the game.
Yeah, he actually he played better in that. Was it the third quarter? Yeah, it was the third quarter. He made, because he was like 1 for 11. Then he finally made like 3 buckets.
I think it was 2.
Yeah, was it 2 in that third?
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. But they were good buckets. He has that propensity to make really key buckets, like driving in the lane. He has the propensity to do that when the team needs it desperately. There's like a little stagnation in the offense and stuff. I've been noting that throughout this whole season that he's been doing that. But when you're bricking from the outside, there's only so much value to that.
And playing terrible defense.
Yeah. We like that play against Bones to close.
Or there were a lot more than that. That was, you could see him lazy, but like we said, he's just brutal on screens, brutal on other. They're just blowing past him, whomever he's covering.
Yeah.
And George, Evan Best says maybe Grimes' situation with his foot is more dire than we think. Maybe, but they're also talking about sending him down to the G League to get some minutes. So which one is it? Is it a dire situation where he can't really get these heavy minutes here in the NBA? Or is it something that he has to take some time off and, not be put through the rigorous schedule of the NBA and allow him to play with the G League? To me, it really doesn't make sense.
Would they even dress him if that was an issue?
I'm not sure. They don't give us much information.
You got that right, man.
I mean, what do you guys think about this? Do you think, I think Thibs and the brain trust, the coaches, they realize, you know what? We got to tighten up this rotation. Got to go cut it down to 9. Fournier is out. But if we bring Grimes back in, who are we taking out? If we want to stick at 9. Grimes isn't quite ready yet. He's still trying to get back into game condition. Let's just stick to a 9-man rotation for now, because it's going to help Cam. It's going to help IQ. It's going to help. Well, they thought maybe it could help RJ. And then it gets Sims a lot of burn. Gets more time for Obi. Technically, some more small ball. There's just more minutes to go around. But there's that thing when you make that decision, okay, that's fine. But still, when then you have one of your guys laboring and suffering, you got to pivot off of it. But we know Thibs doesn't do that. Once he makes a decision about something, he just sticks to it so ardently. But it could be he just decided 9-man rotation, no ifs, ands, or buts, unless someone had to be removed from the game. Any feelings about that? What do you guys think about that? Quis?
I don't see why they have to be so strict with the 9-man rotation. I think if you
met Thibs,
well, they were doing it a little bit earlier in the season, and I don't think it was terrible. They're the ones that decided to shrink it. But me personally, the only change I would have made to the rotation earlier on in the season is to bench Fournier, and they've already done that to open it back up to 10 players and put Quentin Grimes in. I mean, we saw yesterday that was the perfect time where a guy like RJ Barrett is not really feeling well, and you're maybe forced to bring in a guy like Quentin Grimes. At least we would have thought he'd have been forced, because I think we discussed it in the pregame. With RJ Barrett not feeling well, are we going to see Fournier or Grimes get minutes? And
I would have put money down. We would have seen Grimes. One of the two of them. Remember, we said that. And we didn't see either.
And it was a game where we should have seen Grimes with the way RJ was performing.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a 9-man rotation going forward for quite a while, especially now that it worked. So when Grimes is healthy, what's going to happen?
The G League.
I think it goes right into this. Goes right into the rumors of today. My friends, the rumors of today. So Shams launched the day into the Knicks-Verse stratosphere when he didn't even mention it in his tweet, but in the article itself, it says Knicks willing to move guards. The Knicks have shown a willingness to discuss Derrick Rose and Immanuel Quickley in trade talks, league sources say, as a way to sort out the team's glut at the guard position over the course of the season. Then Bleacher Report, in their classic, totally mischaracterization that they normally do, they come out and say Knicks shopping Rose Quickley, which willingness to discuss is not shopping. So that annoyed the hell out of me. And then Begley came out and specifically said they are not calling other teams. They are fielding calls. So let's all just be on the same page here. It's not the Nick. It's not Leon or whoever is on the phone calling around asking people, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think? You want Rose? You want Quickley?" It's not like that at all. They're reading the tea leaves. We just discussed. We're going from a 10-man rotation down to a 9-man rotation, and one of our best guards, our perimeter defensive guards, hasn't even played much this season. He needs to crack that rotation, Quentin Grimes. So there needs to be some kind of a consolidation trade of sorts to be able to open up more space, more minutes for Grimes. What was your before we go to that, let's go to the next slide here that I have. This is the Ian Begley's reporting on it. So he tweeted out today, Knicks have received calls on potential Derrick Rose trades, Immanuel Quickley trades. In some conversations, members of the organization had discussed draft compensation as a potential return. Some teams have had cursory trade conversations with members of the Knicks organization involving Derrick Rose, reports SNY's Ian Begley. Begley reported last week that the Knicks also have gotten calls on Immanuel Quickley. Per Begley, in some talks, the Knicks have sought draft compensation as part of the return. The team hasn't called around to aggressively gauge interest in Rose, but they have received calls from teams interested in the 2011 MVP. Now, that was today's article from SNY that was written by someone else talking about Ian Begley's report. But this is the report in white is from last week that Begley put out. Calls on Quickley. The Knicks have gotten calls from teams about trades involving Immanuel Quickley per SNY sources. It's a bit early in the season. Teams don't typically discuss trades in earnest until December 15th, when most veteran free agents can be moved. But several teams have talked to the Knicks about potential trade of Quickley. It's logical to assume that the Knicks would be hesitant to move Quickley, a strong combo guard drafted by the club in 2020. But teams look at the Knicks roster and see a surplus of young players, potential rotation players. There aren't enough minutes for everyone. Some teams feel the Knicks will consider trading off at least one of the young players on their roster as the deadline approaches. Quickley and Obi are eligible for extensions in the offseason. Cam Reddish will be a restricted free agent. Okay, so there's the whole story. What do you guys think? Do you think what would you think would be a fair compensation for Derrick Rose? We'll approach him first. Quickly. Next. All right, we'll give it to Foxy because he looks like he's still thinking.
For Rose, it'd be a second round pick just to take off that. We're not going to pick up his club option for the $14 million or so next season, so it would strictly be probably get a second round pick for him. IQ is a whole nother thing. Getting rid of. I don't think there's a surplus either. If you get rid of Fournier and IQ and Fournier and Rose, then you have what you want on this team. Right. You have depth and. So let IQ go swing into that point guard spot and like Grimes get the minutes at the 2, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I want Rose off the team, and meaning I love Rose. It's just I just don't want him taking away significant minutes from the young guys. If we're hitting on all cylinders, I think we're still going to be around a 500 team. So let's build for the future. And get rid of those guys. Fournier, a good team, maybe the Lakers that need a sniper. Fournier and D Rose, a vet that's good for young kids and stuff. Send them off, and then let's just nurture our young kids and see their development. Hey, I'm
going to break it. I'm going to show you guys too the value. Like Immanuel Quickley's true value in proportion compared to the rest of the NBA guards. So we have an understanding when we get to compensation. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries.
So Quis, your thoughts, brother, on proper compensation for Derrick Rose?
For Derrick Rose, it'll probably be some type of salary that's going to match, and then like Foxy said, a second round pick. I don't really see us getting much more for Derrick Rose than that, especially from a contender. So, I mean, if you look at what this roster has and what we have at the guard position, like Foxy said, it's not really a glut. There's players that are potential pieces that we can have for the long term, and they just behind some vets in either Derrick Rose and previously it was Evan Fournier. So, like, if we can trade Derrick Rose, I'm 100% for it. I think he's a solid player, but I think right now where we are as a team, we need to give some of the young guys more minutes to see what they can do. So, me personally, I'm all for the trade of Derrick Rose, but when it comes to the Immanuel Quickley trade, I'm a little bit more hesitant. I don't think now is the time to really move off of Immanuel Quickley unless he's in a package for a bona fide star. You know, I was open to moving Immanuel Quickley when we were talking about, Donovan Mitchell, but now you're talking about moving Immanuel Quickley just for some draft compensation. I mean, we have a lot of draft compensation. How much more would we really need in order to make a deal in order for a superstar? Because a lot of people were hesitant about moving off of 5 picks for Donovan Mitchell. Now, do you want to bring in more draft picks and say you're comfortable moving off of 7 picks if that's what the next star is going to require? So, me personally, I think we have we have enough first round picks to really make a deal for an emerging superstar. I don't think we have to go and move Immanuel Quickley just to add more to that treasure trove of draft picks.
I agree with both of you guys. I do think this is more smart talent analyst around the NBA seeing that both Derrick Rose and Quickley have a lot of value that they could bring to other teams, and they're see them coming off the bench, and they're thinking, hey, maybe we can have that guy coming off our bench or even start, and they want to kick the tires on it, and they're calling, trying to find out what's going on. I definitely don't see this as a Knicks front office, putting up the for sale sign, the red dot sticker on what is it, the sales sticker from Walmart or whatever on Derrick Rose or the blue sticker or whatever. Yeah, I don't see that happening here.
We have him for $4 million next year, so it'd be crazy from an assessing floor and ceiling that we would give up on Quickley. This, Quis and I during the summer we watched a video that Quickley put out where he was just doing his left hand. The whole thing was a short video. You remember that one, Quis, where he was just everything he did with his left hand? And we see the other day where he goes strictly left hand and he throws with his left hand the alley-oop to Sims. So that's where you say to yourself, my God, we saw him practice in doing that, and now we're seeing from a development standpoint that element come into his game. And, we see Obi, we say, wow, he worked hard on that 3. So you see the development of his 3-point shot, and you're like saying, we're seeing development before our own eyes. The only problem is we're like saying, wow, we're seeing development, but what did RJ develop that we've seen him add to his repertoire this year? And I know Mitch is a short sample size, but he got into foul trouble and he's shooting worse from the foul line. And so you're like saying to yourself, I know he's a great rim protector, but Jesus, we gave $160 million, $168 million in guaranteed contracts to 2 guys that other guys on the team seem to be showing greater development now, that they're growing in other areas. So we've talked about Quickley, if his shot's off, he's a great rebounder. And you and I were saying this, George, the other night. I truly believe from an analyst standpoint that Quickley is literally up to like 3rd team all NBA defense. That's how good his defense is.
He's getting there.
his at the point of attack, he's literally one of the only guys on this team is excellent at point of attack. He could pick somebody up from 94 feet. His arms, that wingspan. So defensively, he is becoming an elite defensive. Only used it one time, Quis. An elite defensive player. He's all those other things. Like we said, he didn't play point guard in Kentucky, so it takes a couple of years for to learn that craft. But he's doing so many other things. So if that shot hits, and then all the other elements he brought into his repertoire that you see that he's doing, how do you give up on somebody like, especially if you have him for $4 million next year?
Yeah, the value
The
that you're getting
values
from him is out. It's just, and it's a matter of like, what's the ceiling here? What's his floor? Like his floor is, we're seeing it. We've seen his floor. And it was good. His floor contributes to winning because of his defense. But
like you said for your great shows where you're saying his plus minus are up with the elite of the league, and it's because he's an all-around player, and that's why teams are inquiring about him. There's no issue with motor. You want, if you're building a team, you want a guy like IQ, even if he's going to be a second team, because you're never going to have a motor issue. He's always going to be rebounding. He's always going to be bringing something positive. That's why quality teams, that's a compliment, because they're saying, I would like that guy because that's a guy you can grow with. I don't have to worry whether he's on today or off today or somebody else that my brother over, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, who are we going to get today? We always know we're going to get hustle from IQ on the court.
Absolutely. Plus his chemistry that he has with Obi. And we're starting to see a little bit of it with Cam, even though he's not sharing the floor as much with Cam now because Cam in the starting unit. But we're starting to see that come around. He's, from what I've seen, he's a better passer than Jalen Brunson.
I think
he sets up his teammates better than Jalen Brunson does.
I don't know about that. I think he's an excellent passer in transition.
It ain't much difference. It ain't much difference. I mean, name one amazing pass that you've seen from Jalen Brunson this year.
I'll just say it like this: he's had
I see thousands. I see hundreds in my mind from IQ. I can't even think of one outstanding pass. He's made good passes, but whoa!
I don't know that dunk that he did to Sims where he looked away. But also he's only played 14 games.
4 times a game.
He's only had 14 games to learn the guys, Brunson, and he still has a 7-to-1 ratio, in his assist. IQ's had a couple of years to work with these guys, so he knows them a lot better. So I definitely think that, but both of them, what I love about both of them, they're just a low turnover. They're high IQ, low turnover players, and that's the mark of winning teams when you have guys like that don't make mistakes.
Yeah, Quick might be a flashier passer than Jalen Brunson, but if you want to look at who's the better passer, why don't you compare the errant passes? How many errant passes have you seen from Jalen Brunson, and compare it to how many errant passes you've seen from Quickly?
Brunson made 2 huge bad passes in that key game. What was it? The game against it was the Nets.
Yep.
He's made some terrible passes as well.
One game, but I mean, if you're talking about the entirety of the season, IQ has way more bad passes compared to Jalen. But
because I would argue IQ is trying to help create opportunities for his teammates. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, to me, great passing creates opportunities that aren't necessarily there. It's not the easy, obvious pass where you dribble into the paint and you find the guy in the corner. I'm not talking about those kind of passes. I'm talking about the passes that really
the flashy ones.
Yeah, the flash. They end up being flashy, but they don't have to be. They just have to be. They just create an opportunity that wasn't there, or he sees an opportunity before it even develops. I'm seeing that from him, and I'm really happy about that. I'm just putting it out there to say, like, it's not like the guy can pass. He's really developing into a pretty good playmaker right now. He's on that verge.
He's great at passing for lobs, that's for sure.
Ooh, his rhythm. How he hits guys in the flow,
but with multiple players, which is beautiful. So whether it's Obi, whether it's Sims, he just knows how to find these guys from their dunker spot and stuff like that coming in.
Hey, we got a super chat from a good friend of the Knicks-Verse, Chris Dada. Thank you so much, brother. Cannot trade IQ. unless we get another two-way player with size. Keep the great work, fellas. Our fan base needs your knowledge. Thibs has his faults, but he is a good coach. Firing him would be a bad move. All right. Thank you so much for that, man. Hey, we would definitely have to get
just real quick, Chris. I love you, man.
And I put up a poll here. Overwhelmingly, we don't want to trade him. 71% don't want to trade IQ for a protected first-round pick.
Yeah, we got enough of those.
Yeah,
protected first-round picks usually turn into second rounds.
Well, I was
but
listening
that's a great point in the sense that we know the draft. Who are you going to get if you get a draft pick for Quickley this year? Quavian Smith is a great shooter that's very Bones Highland Quickley like at North Carolina State. He's not going to play a stitch of defense like Quickley. No way, no how.
That kind of defense that Quickley's been playing, like just in the draft. Those guys are rare. There's 2 or 3 guys every draft that play great defense. If you're lucky to get one, Herb Jones, Quickley. Who's the other guy? Not from last year, from two drafts ago. Who's the other guy who was a beast defensively? Was it Herb? I guess I'm thinking of Herb Jones. But yeah, they're not that easy to find, especially at his size and length.
Especially at 6'9".
And it's that size. Oof. Thank you, Chris. Hey, let's go. Gonna keep this thing going here. So this is from Cleaning the Glass. This is the team efficiency. This is the on-off numbers. Let me make this a little larger for everybody to see it here. I'm going to hide us here. Okay. So you can see Quickley is by far our number 1 plus-minus player because of his defense. Number 2 is Obi. You can see over there he's Quickley's a plus 14.8 in a 90th percentile. And that's compared to all combo guards and point guards. Obi's in the 80th percentile with a plus 10.3. Cam Reddish is right there, 68th percentile with a plus 6.4. And then Derrick Rose, he's still having a nice season, plus 4.2. And a lot of that is not necessarily because of the offense they bring, though Cam's offense is right up there. You can see he's in the 84th percentile in points per 100 possessions with a plus 8.7. He's been just I love what he's done for the offense. But defensively, these guys are really bringing it. Let's show the next slide here. So this is Raptor. This is Raptor this season so far. This is every single point guard and shooting guard in the NBA. Brunson is 6th with a 2.0 wins above replacement. Immanuel Quickley is tied for 10th with Drew Holiday with a 1.6 wins above replacement. Those numbers increase as the season goes on. That's how wins above replacement works. But then just go in there and look at the overall Raptor scores. He's a plus 6.5. So he's better than Trey Jones, DeJounte Murray, better than Brunson. He's just a tick below Ja, 3 ticks above SGA, and then that's it. So he would be, if I had filtered it for the overall Raptor, he'd be 5th. And we're just gonna trade him away for an unprotected for a protected first round pick. Even if we trade him for an unprotected, if he goes to a winning team, what's the value of that unprotected pick going to be?
Isn't that a wild stat? I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say it's a wild stat. Look at you would think he has a better defensive rating, Brunson, than Halliburton.
Yep. Yes, he does. And he's got.
And that's not with a Grimes next to him, and that's not with some, so that says a lot.
It says a lot.
And he's played, I think the last 2 games have been the best games defensively Brunson has played for the New York Knicks.
Yes, I agree with that. We got a funny super chat going. But look at the names that are on here: Chris Paul, Dame Lillard, Harden, Mike Conley, De'Aaron Fox. I mean, these are the top guards in the game. And there's Immanuel Quickley. Trey Jones is the only other one that you're kind of like, like, can he keep that up? But look at the defensive Raptor score, the overall defensive Raptor score. It's the one in right here, the third column from the right. Plus 5.6. That would make Quickley number 1 in the entire NBA defensively. And we're going to give that guy up?
Hey, you and I were saying the other night, he's third team All NBA defense. Our eyes are telling us he is at that level and soaring. Who knows what he could be even further, man.
This is last season. Sorry,
yeah.
This is last season. So to show how he's trending. So this is last season, which was a great season for him in terms of his defensive contributions and his overall Raptor scores. And this is this season. So he's climbing up. He climbed 10 spots. Last season, he was 20th overall, right behind Donovan Mitchell with a 6.0 wins above replacement. So if we trade him away, we're technically going to be trading away 6 wins above a replacement. Yeah. If we just get him for something else, for just anything. So the front office has to tread lightly, in my opinion, when it comes to what to do with Immanuel Quickley. Sorry, I went to the wrong one. There you go. The next one I wanted to show you guys is how he's doing right now. Here you go. So this is our guys, D Rose and Quick. In the past 4 games, because we were worried, hey, if Quickley can just start getting the 40% from the 3-point line. Well, he's there now. He's at 40% from the 3-point line the past 4 games. Obi Toppin's at 42.1, and D Rose is leading the way with 42.9. But he's only on about 1.8 3-point attempts, and Obi's at almost 5, and Quickley's almost at 4. So some decent volume there. So we're getting some really good production, which that just shows why they're getting these calls, right? They're not going to call about Evan Fournier.
That's for sure.
What are we going to do with Evan Fournier?
That's what we should be talking about. I don't know why we're talking about trading Immanuel Quickley. He's one of the players that needs to stay.
You got that shit right.
Got it right, man. Seriously. This is the one that really is incredibly interesting. So 538, they do their Raptor projections. They have Immanuel Quickley projected in the category of future all-star. He is the only one of our young core who is projected to be an all-star with a market value of 140 million, and he's only 23 years old.
Quick better hire whoever runs this as his agent. That's for sure. George, if you keep at it, you might join the team as well.
I know. Oh man. Well, let's talk about Fournier, man. Like, how do we get rid of him, or what do we do with him?
Send him home.
Send him home. Let's see here. Oh, we got a super chat here. X the Beast. Thank you so much for the contribution. So come on, guys, wake up and hit some of that yayo.
It's yayo, George.
Yayo.
Yayo.
That's how we say it in California.
Oh man, that's funny. I think he's trolling, but if he's going to troll, at least let him pay.
Yeah. I love that. It's funny. So what are we going to do with Fournier? How long do you think this continues?
Trade deadline,
yeah.
Wow. So for 2 more months, he's going to ride the pine.
Or sooner. Somebody needs it. An injury happens. Somebody says we need shooting or somebody, but that they're willing to take on the 38 million, or by that time, half of this season. So around 29 million. But they got to get rid of him.
Wow.
And the more he sits, the less we're gonna get. So
Yeah,
figure this out.
that's the catch-22.
But you don't want to put him in there, especially. Hey, Cam's been a revelation, man. You cannot take a minute away from that guy.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
lunacy.
No, I agree. But we definitely could have taken some minutes away from RJ the past couple of games and given those to Fournier. You know, if he does nothing, then you just sit him back down. But Fournier, you're right. He needs to be out on the floor. He needs to be hitting some threes consistently before we can ship him. So we're stuck in a tough spot there.
But the truth of the matter, on the depth chart, I'd be giving Grimes more burn if that foot's okay than Fournier. So the next man up to me is Grimes, not even Fournier.
Right. So you're pointing that out. To me, that's like saying now's the time to give Fournier some more feature him a little more.
Too late.
Yeah, we already won 2 games with him on the bench.
I think that's what that one fourth quarter where he played the entire fourth quarter was about. It was like
the 20 minutes where he scored no. Oh,
yeah. We're like, let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can create any kind of value for himself. And then he didn't. Well, let's go back. Let's start. We got this game tonight against the Golden State Warriors. They never made that remake. Tony Scott was gonna direct the remake of Warriors before he decided to jump off the bridge in San Pedro.
The creator of Warriors killed himself?
The director,
the guy was going to do the director who was supposed to do the remake.
Yeah,
Tony Scott, the original director, or was he just doing?
No, he was not the original director.
Oh, okay, cool.
Tony Scott did the original Top Gun. Tony Scott was one of the best action directors in Hollywood at the time. His brother is Ridley Scott, who did Blade Runner and The Martian and all this stuff. Yeah, it's sad. He killed himself. No one knows why, and I don't know why I'm talking about it, but we're playing the Warriors tonight. In a few minutes. We're in San Francisco. Knicks are 5-5 in the last 10 games, and the Warriors are only 3-7. The Knicks are averaging in the last 10 games 111 points per game, and they are averaging 115.8. We are averaging 45 rebounds per game. They're averaging 41.1. We're averaging 24 assists per game, which is good for a Knicks Thibodeau team, but the Warriors are averaging 28.8, more in the Denver area of assists. And in terms of field goal percentage, they're shooting a 47.7% overall. We're shooting 45%. They're shooting 38.6% from three. We're shooting 31.3%. What are our feelings, gentlemen? Do we have a chance of extending this streak tonight to 3-0?
Yes.
Yes? How much of a chance do you think, Foxy? What do you think? What do we got to do to win tonight?
We have to shoot over 38% from three and 78% from the foul line. They're 26th in blocks, this team. So if RJ is feeling a little better, he's not going to have somebody to be worried about blocking his shots there. They're 27th in turnovers. You know, from a defensive standpoint, folks, they're 28th or 29th in defensive rating. They're 29th in points allowed with 118.3. So they're hurting. Like I said, they may be 6-1 at home, but 0-8 on the road. They're having some issues. You know, Moody, Kuminga. I don't know if Kuminga's even going to play tonight. Him and Iguodala, but I definitely think this is a winnable game. They're a really good offensive team, no doubt about it. They're fourth in points at 117.5, but this is definitely a winnable game. And like I said, we play well against them. I think if we come out and Tibbs didn't have a crazy practice where their legs are tired, I definitely think we could beat them.
All right. Thank you so much. We survey 100 people. Golden State Warriors starting five: Steph Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, Kevin Looney. Basically, it's their starting five they usually put out there. The Knicks starting five are the same as the Denver game.
Brunson, Cam, RJ, Randall, and iHeart.
Yeah. Quis, how do you expect the Knicks to be able to slow down this team tonight?
Well, it depends on how they're going to match up defensively. Are we going to see Cam Reddish, who's kind of been turning into a defensive stopper, be put on a guy like Steph Curry? I think in his last game, Steph had, 50?
Yeah.
So Steph's hot. He's been killing. I know the team in its entirety hasn't been playing well, but Steph, for the most part, has been balling. So it all depends on how Tom Thibodeau is going to kind of scheme the defense and see how we're going to react to what Steph can do out there on the court. Me personally, I'll be interested in seeing if Cam is going to be the one matched up. I think that'll be a big matchup if we do see it out there on the court, and it'll be something that'll give us a lot of information because we've seen Cam step up defensively, and if Cam can be one of these guys that can be put on a opposing team's best perimeter player, then that's going to just raise his value for this team. And if he can do that and continue to play well and be efficient offensively, I think that's just going to give us more and more tape and more information when it comes to making a decision as to whether or not he should be here long term. And hopefully RJ is going to be able to rebound. Hopefully he's healthy and he's not going to shoot as bad as he did last night. I mean, not last night, but last game. Mm-hmm. It's going to be hard for him to have that same type of performance. What did he go 0 for 9? I don't see him doing that again all season. Fingers crossed. So hopefully he can rebound and step up. And Julius Randle, are we going to see the same Julius Randle we saw from last game?
That's the biggest question.
Yeah, is he going to be able to keep that same intensity, play with that same type of fire and that same type of hustle? We saw him diving for balls. We saw him actually playing, lock up defense.
He looked like Draymond out there. It's in that fourth quarter, especially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Draymond's a beast. He's going to call him out. He's going to call him out tonight.
Yep. Yeah. To me, the biggest question mark. Obviously, RJ. What kind of RJ we're going to see tonight is a big question mark. But I feel like we can still overcome that. But what are we going to see from Randall? Is he going to come out with the same fire and determination and defensive intensity? Is he going to jam the ball handler on the pick and rolls like he was doing? I mean, are we as a team going to jam the ball handlers? Because instead of that drop back, I think drop back kills us against a team like the Warriors. So, but it takes a lot of effort. It tires you out, and now we're cutting down our rotation down to 9. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a tough match, I believe. Because the Warriors, they have a lot of pride. They're a tremendous team, and it's on ESPN.
Draymond's not gonna light him up though from 3. That's for sure.
Right.
No, I'm serious. Versus some of the other,
without Lucky Mike.
Yeah, I just jinxed it. Sorry, folks. Sayonara. How about?
All right. Gonna remove Foxy from the stream.
That's a chat.
Let me just say goodbye to a few people. Hey, L. Marshall, I love you.
Lex says it right here. Perimeter defense is the key. 1,000%. 1,000%. Hey, Alton Lee, good to see you, brother.
Yeah,
Bayside Junior.
That's why I hope Ihart's not in for long, for the perimeter, and we bring in Sims quick.
What's up, El Cid? Good to see you, man. Kept Giggles, we got over 180 in the chat. Thank you guys for turning out. It's been a great stream so far. We've talked about a lot of things about the Knicks, and mostly I'm feeling so relieved that we at least won one of these the 2 games before, but I'm ecstatic we won both. I knew it was possible. I actually even tweeted it out. I tweeted out once I heard about this players only team meeting and it was Randall who called the meeting. I was like, sometimes teams respond, especially when they're on the road, they're together. There's that brotherhood. They're having meals together. They're constantly talking. There's not the distraction of their personal lives and stuff. And it's actually all worked out that way, even with this sickness that's going around. Because even Julius said he wasn't feeling that great at the end of the Denver game. You guys hear that?
All my friends are sick too. And from all over the place, everyone's getting sick, man. And a lot of it is the flu. I think schools, a lot of states are going into shock because they're overwhelmed with the amount of people that are getting this flu.
Yeah, I got something. It took me down. I was shivering. I was and even when I wasn't shivering anymore, I was so tired. My body was just tired, and I was aching. I looked like the old man that I am.
Don't even go there. You young buck.
Yeah, man. Yeah, hit that thumbs up for us, man. If you enjoyed this stream, and drop your comments if you guys think of anything else. In the future, after this game is over, just drop it in the comments. We read them all. And what else? Any last thoughts? Let's look at these stats here. The season leaders, Randall's up to 21.3 points per game on 46.5% field goal shooting, 75.7% from the free throw. He's leading us in rebounds, 8.9, and Brunson's up there, 6.9 in assists with only 1.7 turnovers per game, which is fantastic. Love that. Steph is having an insane season, 32.8 points on 53.1% field goal shooting, and almost 93% from the free throw line. Looney is at 6.9 rebounds, and Draymond Green is leading with assists like usual at 6.7. We both have the same record in the last 5 games, which is 3-2, and they lost the game to Phoenix last night. Was that? 2 nights ago. But they took care of San Antonio. They lost to the Kings, who are having quite a season themselves. Kings are having it. They beat Cleveland, and they beat Sacramento. And just on a little side note, I believe the Knicks are only 1 game behind the Cleveland Cavaliers in the standings. Cavs are 8-6, and the Knicks are 8-7. So we're a half game behind, and that's without Donovan Mitchell.
Half game behind.
Without Donovan Mitchell. That's why sometimes you always got to wait till things play themselves out to find out whether the team did the right thing, did the wrong thing. We got to wait and see. Got to give a little more time. What happens to the Cavs?
We know Boston is real, though.
Boston is real. We knew it. We knew it from last year, man. That turnaround. Thanks to us. We woke their asses up, and now they
were losing to the Knicks. Oh, no, we got to change this up.
Exactly.
Yeah, but OKC brought it to Boston. Boston had to come from behind to beat them, and we were like saying, man, OKC is doing it to a lot of teams. Yeah. They're playing them tough.
Dude, I think they're averaging 130 something points in the past 4 games or something. 5 games, I think. OKC is. Yeah, they're heating up. But teams go through those periods. They get super blazing hot, and then something happens. They cool off. They get complacent. But cheers, everybody. Let's get that 3rd win tonight.
Sorry, Foxy. We didn't let you know you had to get some drink.
What?
Light it up, Foxy. There we go.
Light up or leave me alone.
I'll probably do another post. I'm going to do the live post game
at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, at 2:30 in the morning. I did it the other night.
I know at 1:30 in the morning. I was like, I woke up in the morning. It was like George was doing that show, and I was already in bed.
I couldn't believe how many people we had. It was great. We had over 150 in the chat and stuff. We were amped up. That was such a nice win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was really impressive. We surveyed, said, yeah, OKC is a good young squad. They really are. They are. They're. I mean, they're rebuilding the correct way.
And they don't even have Chet yet.
They don't even have Chet yet. I was just gonna say that. Chet.
Trey Mann's not playing, and he has game.
Trey, is he hurt? He played against.
No, he's just not getting, because of SGA and stuff. They're shooting guard.
Yeah,
This is just not.
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to crack that starting lineup of guards?
Well, I think Giddey's future is actually be the next Draymond. He's 6'8". I see him. He had a triple double the other night. He could be a power forward in this league.
I think it was against us. His first.
It was against us.
Yeah, we're good that way. We help other players look good. We help them get the bag.
You want a career game? Come here.
Yeah. Come play against the Knicks. Oh man,
Zeke Naji will come on down.
Naji's about to kill us again. He killed us last year.
I know. They said he scored more points against the Knicks, I think, than he's had all season. It's like every year, it's like a guy is like just has their number.
I I think we're going to see a lot of Quickley in this game because of Jordan Poole. I think he's kind of has the right size matchup because has Quick guarded Steph?
I think they'll have him on Steph, and like you said, no different than Phoenix putting Mikal on. I'd see Cam on him. I think they're gonna throw different looks at Steph.
See, these are the kind of games I'd love to see. Even bring in Deuce for a few minutes to close a quarter, to close the half or whatever, and just like disrupt. Get right in Poole's face, get in the Steph's. So then we have Deuce, Cam, and IQ just terrorizing those three guards that they have. And then we roll with the rest, at least for a few minutes, just show them different looks. But we won't. We won't see that.
Not one bit.
Not one
I
bit.
don't know when we'll ever see Deuce, but
yeah,
a major blowout. 2 minutes left.
Yeah. There is a possibility. The Knicks come in and blow the Warriors out of their arena.
I just want them to win.
Yes, because I feel like the shooting is it's percolating. It's starting to come around, and offense hasn't been our problem, and the Warriors have been struggling on the defensive end tremendously. So, and our defense is starting to get better. So there's something here. This game could end up Knicks 120, Warriors 101, something like that. So don't be surprised if that happens. And if it comes out that way, you guys got to rain some super chats this way if you put money on that.
It's raining super chats. Hallelujah.
It's rain. Yeah, man. All right. Well, it's 10:03. The game is going to start pretty soon. They're in the pregame.
National, they normally start on time, right?
Yeah, so you normally start on time.
I'm watching it on MSG though.
Yeah, I
available
can't.
on MSG.
I don't give me that.
I hope
choice.
so because I set my my recorder up on MSG for it.
Oh,
the Sixers Bucks game is still going. So this game. But we're gonna sign off. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this. Really appreciate all the support and the love. The best fan base around. I say it every time because it's true. Quis, Foxy, you want to let people know about your channel? Your if whoever doesn't already know.
Yeah, we'll be live this Sunday, 6. Well, they
6-ish.
So we'll be coming on as soon as the Knicks finish. They'll probably finish in the 6 o'clock hour. So once they're finished with the game, we'll log on and then we'll chop it up with the Knicks Sunday stream. And Foxy, anything else you want to add?
Great show. Keys and I've been working behind the scenes, so tune in. We have a great show, thought-provoking. Can't wait to chop it up with you.
Yep.
Definitely. And you guys hit that thumbs up button for us. It'd be great if we could get it to 100, or I think we're at 70 something or whatever in likes.
71 will be
71. Get it up there. And follow me on Twitter at Knicks-Verse. That's my little sign here in case I forget my own name.
You got it up in neon lights.
Yeah, there you go. I can't wait to put I got the sticker for I got a funny little sticker over here for on the World Trade Center. I'm gonna put not Godzilla, King Kong up there.
Yeah, where'd you get that idea?
It'll be fun. All right, man. Well, let's hope like I said, let's hope we pull this game out. Be nice. It'd be fantastic to go into it. But the game I really want of the next 3 is the Phoenix game. I want that game. I want us to win that game. Tonight would be gravy. If we win, it'd be fantastic. Everyone's important, but just
losing at the buzzer last year broke my heart.
Yeah, we've played them tough a few times. We've played them terrible some other times.
We didn't deserve to win that game, from what I recall. We allowed them to come back and win.
Stupid fouls, turnovers late.
I know, but man, it'd be nice to finally pick up a win in Arizona.
Hey, we just did it with Denver. Now's the next thing that would make sense. We beat the Suns. Come on, let's change.
Exactly. See some new. Let's finally taste some victory, man. Some sustained.
No.
Huh?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm over here jabbing out to the beat. My fault.
I was ready to jab. All right, you guys, thanks so much, Lex, for holding it down. We survey 100 people. Appreciate your support. Best mods around. Knicks
Not
Nation, Knicks K Nation. What's up? 112. Good to see you, man.
Just Geraldine MacGyver. Just wanted to give a shout out, and a few of the others, like we said, El Marshall, Cormega, Cully, Adrian Reality. Thanks so much for your support. We greatly appreciate it.
House, good to see you. Crow Noir, good to see you too, brother. El Marshall. All right, El Cid 117. What's up, brother? All right. Peace, love. Let's hope for a victory. And we will see you around the Knicks-Verse.
2, 3.